Summary of Mark 14. NLT. Mark 14 records the events leading up to Jesus' crucifixion, filled with betrayal, sorrow, and Jesus' unwavering obedience to God's plan. 1. The plot to kill Jesus. Religious leaders plot to arrest and kill Jesus, but plan to wait until after the Passover to avoid a public uproar. 2. Jesus anointed at Bethany. While Jesus is at Simon's house, a woman anoints him with expensive perfume. Some criticize her, but Jesus defends her, saying she has prepared his body for burial. He says her act of love will be remembered wherever the gospel is preached. 3. Judas agrees to betray Jesus. Judas Iscariot goes to the chief priests and agrees to betray Jesus for money. 4. The Last Supper. Jesus celebrates the Passover meal with his disciples. He reveals that one of them will betray him. During the meal, he breaks bread and shares the cup, instituting the practice of communion, symbolizing his body and blood given for many. 5. Jesus predicts Peter's denial. Jesus tells his disciples they will all abandon him. Peter insists he won't, but Jesus tells him he will deny him 3 times before the rooster crows twice. 6. Jesus prays in Gethsemane. In deep anguish, Jesus prays in the Garden of Gethsemane, asking if the suffering can be avoided, but submits to God's will. Meanwhile, his disciples repeatedly fall asleep. 7. Jesus is betrayed and arrested. Judas arrives with a crowd and betrays Jesus with a kiss. Jesus is arrested. One follower cuts off a servant's ear. All the disciples flee, and a young man escapes naked. 8. Jesus before the council. Jesus is taken to the high priest and falsely accused. When asked if he is the Messiah, Jesus affirms it. The leaders condemn him for blasphemy and begin to beat him. 9. Peter denies Jesus. As Jesus is on trial, Peter denies knowing him 3 times. When the rooster crows, Peter remembers Jesus' words and breaks down in tears. Key themes: Jesus' obedience and surrender to God's will. The contrast between faithfulness, the woman's anointing, and betrayal, Judas and Peter. The establishment of the new covenant through the Last Supper. The loneliness and suffering Jesus faces as his crucifixion approaches. Mark 14 shows Jesus' humanity, suffering, and